Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Thank you, Prabhu. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatiravana Chari Yamunatiravana Chari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Nitai Gauranga Haribol, Haribol. Haribol, Nitai Gaura Haribol. Jaya, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Jaya. Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Srila Prabhupada. Vaishnav Thakur Srila Prabhupada Jaya. Jaya Patita Pavan Srila Prabhupada. Patit Pavan Srila Prabhupada Jaya. Jaya Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada. Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada Jaya. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Patita Pavan Srila Gurudeva. Patit Pavan Srila Gurudeva Jaya. Jaya Gurudeva, 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 Jaya Gurudeva. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramansa Privrajacharya Astotarasta Srimad. His Divine Grace Srila Bhaya Charanarvindam Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai. Shri Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Kalachanji Ki Jai. Jai Kirtan 50 Festival Ki Jai. Jai Gaura Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, everybody, for attending this very important festival of Kirtan 50. The culmination of the services for the year 2023 and the inauguration for the more services we'll do in 2024. So I thought it would be fitting to speak from this verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 6. It's on the board. Yes. So please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Aham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhya Vaishnavebhya Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shivarshabhanavi Devi Deitaya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhurya Jwala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shimute Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddhapa Siddhanta Dhvanta Harine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasa Adi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Gaura Bhakta Brinda ki Jai. Okay, I'm just going to read out here. So the verses on the board. Please repeat after me. Savai pungsang paro dharma yato bhakti radhokshaje ahaitukya pratihata yayatma suprasidati. Savai pungsang paro dharma yato bhakti radhokshaje ahaitukya pratihata yayatma suprasidati. Savai pungsang paro dharma yato bhakti radhokshaje ahaitukya pratihata yayatma suprasidati. Please repeat. Savai pungsang paro dharma yato bhakti radhokshaje ahaitukya pratihata yayatma suprasidati. Savai pungsang paro dharma Yato bhaktir adokshaje ahaitakya pratihata yayatma suprasidati. Mataji's. Savai pungsang paradharma yato bhaktir adokshaje ahaitakya pratihata yayatma suprasidati. Savai pungsang paradharma yato bhaktir adokshaje ahaitakya pratihata yayatma suprasidati. Savai pungsang paradharma yato bhaktir adokshaje ahaitakya pratihata ahitma suprasidati. Saha, that, ve, certainly, pungsam, for mankind, paraha, sublime, dharmaha, occupation, yataha, by which, bhaktihi, devotional service, adhokshaje, unto the transcendence, ahoituki, causeless, apratihata, unbroken, yaya, by which atma, the self, suprasidati, completely satisfied. Please repeat after me. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. So again, the supreme occupation of dharma for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Jai. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In this statement, Srila Sutta Goswami answers the first question of the sages of Naimisharanya. So the sages of Naimisharanya had gathered together because they knew that Kali Yuga was coming. And they wanted to make sure that in Kali Yuga, everybody had complete opportunity to achieve the highest success of life, which is Krishna Prema. But they also knew that Kali Yuga would be a very challenging time because it is a time of quarrel and hypocrisy. So the best devotees of the world got together in one place to discuss what advice they would give the residents of Kali Yuga so that they could achieve the highest success of life. So they asked 6 questions. The first question was, can you please summarize the whole Vedas, all of the Vedas, and place it into one statement that would be the ultimate understanding of the scriptures and the ultimate practice of Krishna consciousness, all into one statement, all of the Vedas and all of devotional practice. So here Sutta Goswami is answering the first question, and this was the statement he made. Savai pungsang parodharmo yator bhaktir adoksja ahetukya patihata Ye Atma Suprasidati. So the sages asked him to summarize the whole range of the revealed scriptures and present the most essential part, so that the most fallen people, or the people in general, might easily take it up. The Vedas prescribe different types of occupation for the human being. So the human life is, as we know, the highest stage of the different forms of life, the 8,400,000 species of life. So for that human species, there are two different types of occupation. One is called Pravritti Marg, or the path of sense enjoyment, and the other is called the Nivritti Marg, or the path of renunciation. The path of enjoyment is inferior, and the path of sacrifice for the supreme cause is superior. The material existence of the living being is a diseased condition of actual life. Actual life is spiritual existence, or Brahmabhuta existence, where life is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Now Krishna, who is the cause of all causes, the origin of everyone and everything, is so merciful that he manifested us as Jivatmas and constructed us of three items: Sat, Chit, and Ananda. So this is our ultimate self, that we will be eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. And that is actual life. Any other life is considered to be illusory. Now what does illusory mean? Illusory doesn't mean that it is false. A lot of times we associate illusory with false, but that's not how scriptures see it. Scriptures see illusory as misidentification. For example, in the dark we may see a piece of rope and think that it is a snake. So that is illusion. That we're thinking that the rope is snake is illusion. But the rope is real. Snake is also real. But misidentifying that rope as snake is illusion. Therefore, the material world is real. The living entity is also real. But identifying that the material world is meant for the pleasure, for the sense enjoyment of the Atma is illusion. So the very first understanding is that we should not live illusory lives. We should live lives that are meant for the pleasure of Krishna, solely Krishna's pleasure. This is how the gopis stated, SKP. In our world, Prabhupada gave us Sankirtan Party, SKP also. So this is the process. So Prabhupada continues. In this material existence is temporary, illusory, and full of miseries, just like spiritual existence is full of eternality, blissfulness, and knowledge, full knowledge. Illusory life, or material existence, is temporary, illusory, and full of miseries. So these are the two opposites. There is no happiness at all. So what we consider to be happiness in the material world is actually the cessation of misery. So between two miserable points, when there is not misery, we think that's happiness. But that is not actual happiness. Prabhupada says, there is no happiness at all. There is just the futile attempt to get rid of the miseries, and temporary cessation of misery is falsely called happiness. Therefore, the path of progressive material enjoyment, which is temporary, miserable, and illusory, is inferior. But devotional service to the Supreme Lord, which leads one to eternal, blissful, and all-cognizant life, is called the superior quality of occupation. This is sometimes polluted when mixed with the inferior quality. This is a very important point for us who are devotees. As devotees, we are engaging in devotional service, but what we sometimes and oftentimes do is actually mix in the inferior quality. For example, adoption of devotional service for material gain is certainly an obstruction to the progressive path of renunciation. So this is why Lord Chaitanya advises us, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. Do not chase wealth, do not chase followers, and do not chase sex life like that. Why? Because these three have nothing to do with devotional service. So these are about sense enjoyment, which is of the inferior quality. So then he says, Prabhupada says, renunciation or abnegation for the ultimate good is certainly a better occupation than enjoyment in the diseased condition of life. So our condition is that we are diseased. What is our disease? Our disease is that we have a lording mentality. We have a mind that is broken. It's not working properly. Such enjoyment only aggravates the symptoms of disease and increases its duration. This is why we've been here, and now this is the 50th year. Brahma just celebrated his 50th year, his 50th birthday, which means a little over 155 trillion years have gone, and we've been around all that time, and we haven't gone back to Godhead. Lord Chaitanya came prior to this 15,000 times. Prior to this visit. This visit was his 15,001st visit. We've been around all the time. We didn't go back. Why? Because of this problem here. That we're trying to engage our senses, we're trying to enjoy our senses, and mixing it in with devotional service. Prabhupada says, he continues, one should therefore accept the superior quality of occupation in the form of devotional service of the Lord without any tinge of unnecessary desire, fruitive action, and philosophical speculation. This alone can lead one to perpetual solace in his service. So this is actually very true. When we engage in devotional service with all of our heart and soul, which is what happens when we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yomam evam asamudo janati purushottamam sasarvavid bhajati mam. Excuse me. Sarva bhavena bharata. Krishna says, one who knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. And such a person engages in my loving devotional service with all of his heart and soul. Complete heart and soul. And when you have service, when you do that service with complete heart and soul, then everything will be provided way beyond your requirement. We can see in the example of Srila Prabhupada how he was completely fixed on devotional service, on the instruction of his spiritual master to go to the West and preach in English. And because he was completely fixed, he had all the money in the world that he needed. All the wealth came to him, right? So many followers came to him. The whole world became his followers. Correct? And so many beautiful men and women were around him, right? He had everything. Everything was made available. So this is the process. The process is not, in this world people chase Lakshmi, but you cannot chase Lakshmi because Lakshmi runs very fast. You can't catch her. She's such a fast runner, no man or no woman, nobody in creation can catch Lakshmi. That's how fast she runs. But when we chase Krishna, then Krishna chases the devotee. Then Lakshmi chases the devotee. Because Lakshmi wants to catch Krishna too. And she knows the devotees are getting really close. So if I catch the devotee, then I'll also catch Krishna. Because who has Krishna? The devotee. Krishna says, I live in the heart of my devotee. And my devotee lives in my heart. So we have to always live in the heart of Krishna. Which means anything and everything we do, any breath and every breath, we should be engaged in serving Krishna. Every breath should be engaged in serving Krishna, like that. Prabhupada continues, we have purposely denoted dharma as occupation because the root meaning of the word dharma is, quote, that which sustains one's existence. So this is what dharma is. It sustains us, just like food sustains us. Air sustains us. Water sustains us. Rest sustains us. Good attitude sustains us. So the greatest sustenance is actually dharma. Prabhupada also describes dharma as love of God in another place. A living being's sustenance of existence is to coordinate his activities with his eternal relationship with Krishna, the Supreme Lord Krishna. Krishna is the central pivot of living beings, and he is the all-attractive living entity or eternal form amongst all other living beings or eternal forms. Each and every living being has his eternal form in the spiritual existence, and Krishna is the eternal attraction for all of them, without exception. Krishna is the complete whole, and everything is his part and parcel. The relationship is one of servant and the served. It is transcendental and is completely distinct from our experience in material existence. This relationship of servant and the served is the most congenial form of intimacy. One can realize it as devotional service progresses. Everyone should engage himself in that transcendental loving service, even in the present conditioned state of material existence. That will gradually give one the clue to actual life and please him to complete satisfaction. So when we engage in devotional service, we will get more and more and more clues about what is actual life. What is actual life? Prabhupada describes actual life as always living with Krishna on that spiritual planet, Golok Vrindavan, and that one is simply waiting to give up his material body. This is Prabhupada's exact words, not paraphrasing. These are exactly what Prabhupada said. He says Krishna consciousness means that one always lives with Krishna on that spiritual planet, Golok Vrindavan, and that one is simply waiting to give up this material condition, I am now paraphrasing, material conditioned life, this material body. This material body is meant for only one purpose, and that is to serve Krishna. Everything we do should be as a service to Krishna, and service Prabhupada describes as expression of love. So this is why we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. O energy of the Lord, O all-attractive Lord, O reservoir of all pleasure, kindly engage me in your service. Service means expression of love. Kindly engage me in your love. This is the prayer of the Mahamantra. And Prabhupada said, before you start, always start with Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Then you do whatever activity you want to do. When you wake up in the morning, he said, the first thing you should do is chant the Panchatattva Mahamantra. So that everything will be auspicious, because it is the Panchatattva who bless us to be able to understand this properly and become fully Krishna conscious. So it is not by the senses that we are going to actually achieve our greatest success. Ataha Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Grahyam Indriyehi. It says one has to chant the holy name of Krishna. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam Eva Kevalam. Kalo Naste Eva, Naste Eva, Naste Eva Kitriyanta. There is no other way, no other way, no other way. Nabhavet Grahyam Indriyehi. It is not by the senses that you will come to know Krishna, that you will come to your highest success of life. Jai Shri Shri Radha Kalachanji Ki Jai. It is not. What is the process? Sevan Mukhehi Jibhado. One must engage one's senses. One must engage one's tongue in two ways: by vibrating Krishna's name and tasting Krishna Prasad. Swam eva spurati adaha. Then Krishna will appear to us in full form. Krishna will appear. First he appears as the holy name. Then he appears as his attributes. Then he appears as his paraphernalia. Then he appears as his entourage. Then his leela. Then he comes himself. Swayameva spurati adaha. This is our process. So we are very fortunate that Lord Chaitanya gave us. What are the outcomes? What happens when you do this? This is why I chanted Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Pranam Mantra this morning. Because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur describes this in a very wonderful way. And of course, the answer is given by none other than Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Gauranga Mahaprabhu left behind only 8 prayers, right? We call it the 6 Ashtaka. And the first prayer is Chaitodarpanam Marjanam Bhavamahadavagni Nirvapanam Shekirva Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijete Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So Prabhupada translates it. He says, and in this prayer, he gives the 7 flames. This is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explaining. These are the 7 flames for which we live our lives. These are the 7 benefits and objectives for which we live our lives. If you get these 7 things, then you will have Yayatma Suprasidati. Remember the verse said, Yayatma Suprasidati, which means, how do you become completely satisfied? To be completely satisfied, these 7 flames must appear in your life. And the best way to make these 7 flames appear is by kirtan. Satatam kirtayantu mam yatantascha hridavrataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukto upasate. How can we always be with Krishna? How can we always live with Krishna on that spiritual planet? Satatam kirtayantu mam. Now what is kirtan? Kirtiyate iti kirtanam. The word kirtan comes from the word kirtiyate. Kirtiyate means to glorify. Therefore, Prabhupada described the word love as to glorify. Love means to glorify. Just like service means to express love, love means to glorify. So when you glorify Krishna, then that is called kirtan. And kirtan is done in 4 ways. You can do kirtan in your mind by chanting the holy names of the Lord in your mind and always thinking about Krishna's pastimes in your mind, by always thinking about Krishna Katha in your mind, your service that you have to do in your mind. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to speak softly. That is called japa. Jai. Shri Shri Radha Kalachanji ki jai. The next method is japa. That is soft chanting. Softly dealing with others. Like that. Not hard-hearted. Soft-hearted dealings with others. Third way is to do it a little loudly, so that other living entities can also benefit. I was reading this morning, and there's a very nice joke told in the Nectar of Devotion. And the joke is that Narada Muni, he likes to sing the holy name of the Lord, right? So one day he was singing, and he became so enthusiastic, he started chanting very loudly. He started singing very loudly. So people thought that Lord Nrsingadev had appeared. And the demons started flying in all directions to run away. They started fleeing in all directions because they thought, oh my God, Lord Nrsingadev is back again. It's the end of us. So they were all running here and there. So that was the joke. Prabhupada said even jokes have to be true. It's not a joke if it is not true. Then it's just cruelty. So these 7 flames, and then the 4th way of doing kirtan is Sankirtan. And Srila Prabhupada describes that Lord Gauranga was so merciful to all of us that he imported from the spiritual world Golokara Premadhana, Harinama Sankirtan. This is the wealth of Goloka. He gave us the wealth of Goloka. Yes, the wealth of this world is valuable, but the wealth of this world is nothing compared to the wealth of Goloka. That's eternal wealth, right? So he gave us eternal wealth, Sankirtan. Therefore, we should always do Sankirtan, which is congregational chanting of the holy name. Doing one's service in the association of devotees, doing sadhu sangha. Always doing things in the association of devotees is called Sankirtan. Because Krishna says, I am where my devotees congregate to glorify me. And our service is glorification of Krishna and glorification of his devotees. Like that. So when we do kirtan, remember, these are the 7 flames that come. And when these 7 flames come, then complete satisfaction comes. And therefore we feel very blissful. The soul feels very blissful. This is why kirtan gives us so much bliss. In any form, kirtan will give us many bliss. Whether it is in the form of deity worship, whether it is in the form of book distribution, whether it is in the form of singing together and dancing together, whether it's in the form of taking prasadam. Yes, Prabhupada also said you can eat your way back to Godhead. Whether it's in the form of running a restaurant, whether it's in the form of doing a farm, or a school, or any method that we have, right? With millions of ways of practicing Krishna consciousness. All of them, when done in the association of devotees, is called Sankirtan. And if there's nobody around you, understand your super soul is with you. And who is the super soul? Krishna, the spiritual master, and the associates sitting in our heart. That is super soul. So we're always in the association. Prabhupada said, I never felt alone because I always felt Krishna was with me and my spiritual master was with me. Like that. So what are the 7 flames? So this is given in the explanation of the translation. So what is the translation? The translation says, let there be all victory for the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna, which can, and how now come the 7 flames. Flame number 1, cleanse the mirror of the heart. The first thing we have to do is to give up our illusory understanding of life. We have to give up the fact that we are lords. We have to understand we are servants of the servants of the servants of the gopis of Braja. Gopir bhartu padakamaleor. Dasa dasa anudasa. That is the crown we wear on our heads. So first we have to cleanse the mirror, because then you can see the original person, who is none other than Krishna himself. Number 2, stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. We're always affected by the miseries of material existence. So this puts a stop to it. No more misery. Only happiness. This is why whenever Prabhupada met anybody, what would he say? Are you happy? He wouldn't ask them, are you chanting your 16 rounds? Are you attending Mangalarti? Are you following the 4 regulative principles? Are you this, that, and the other? No. His only question was, are you happy? And if a devotee would say, Prabhupada, I'm not happy, Prabhupada would say, you're not devotee. Why would he say that? Because if you're chanting the holy name of the Lord, and you're associating with Krishna, and Krishna is with you, Sarva Karana Karanam is with you, the cause of all causes. The problem is, in this world, we think we are the doer. Kartaham iti manyate jagat. We think I am the doer. But who is the real doer? Krishna is the actual doer. Sarva Karana Karanam. The cause of all causes is actually Krishna. So when we understand that, it puts a stop to the misery of lording over the world. Because that is the source of all our miseries. Nobody is the source of my misery. Only I am the source of all my miseries. I have to understand that. And I can put a stop to it by chanting the holy names of Krishna, by doing Sankirtan. Number 3, that chanting is the waxing moon that spreads the white lotus of good fortune for all living entities. All living entities, not just human beings. Even the bug on the floor here is actually benefiting from the 7 flames when Sankirtan is happening. All living entities have good fortune come into their life. The waxing moon of the white lotus of good fortune. How amazing is that, right? Why go and work for Microsoft and earn $1 million when you can actually chant Hare Krishna and earn much more than that? The $1 million from Microsoft, and I'm sorry I'm using the word Microsoft, I'm not criticizing Microsoft, it's just one of the big companies in this world, so that's why I'm saying it. And earning $1 million, nothing wrong earning $1 million. If you can use that for Krishna's service and keep your body and soul together so you can do more Sankirtan, that's perfect. But if you're not doing that, that $1 million is going to run out. You're going to have another $1 million after that. They say those people who retire in this world will retire with less than $2 million, they're not going to be well off. And hardly anybody retires with $2 million. If you retire with the holy name, that's eternal good fortune in your hands. You'll never be hungry. You'll never go without clothes. You'll never go without shelter. Roti kapra makan, they say. You'll never go without this. In fact, you'll have too much of it. The problem with devotees is that the devotees eat too much. The problem is devotees don't have a problem with starvation. They're eating too much. That's the problem. Right? We have too much of everything. We live like kings and queens. We eat food from the plate of the Supreme Lord Himself. Even kings and queens don't get that opportunity. We have the best association. The best people in creation are the devotees. Highest association. We're always enjoying chanting, feasting, and dancing. What more can we ask than that? So we should always be happy. Internally. Externally we're not happy because we see others are not happy. So we want to make sure that they're happy. Para dukhe dukhi. But internally we're completely happy and satisfied. Number 4, it is the life and soul of all education. This is one that's very close to me because my spiritual master asked me to set up a university, and now I resigned as the Tamil president here just so that I can take up this service of setting a university. And I was very happy to read that Sankirtan is the life and soul of all education, which means without Sankirtan, education is merely a dead body. And that's what we're learning at our schools right now. That's the problem with education. They're devoid of the holy name of Krishna. So now when you set up our university, we'll teach everything. Law, business, medicine, everything. But we'll infuse it with Sankirtan. And now medicine will become even better medicine. Law will become the best law. Commerce will become the best commerce. Everything will become the best. People will be happy. The whole world will become Krishna conscious. Nostradamus predicted this, that at one time there will be only one religion on this planet. And it will start by he said, some religious person coming from the east to the west in the mid-60s. There are only 2 people who came from the mid-60s in the east and west. That was Prabhupada and Rajneesh. And the CIA knew this. The FBI knew this. So they interviewed both of them and they decided they didn't have to worry about Prabhupada. Because they asked the same questions. They asked first the question to Rajneesh, first invited, and said, so, why have you come to America? He said, I came to America to make all of you happy. And he said, how will you make everyone happy? He said, well, first you have as much sex as you want, eat as much meat as you want, do everything you want, and enjoy your senses to the hilt. Then I'll teach you about liberation. So the guy thought, wow. So he thought, and how many people do you think will join your religion? He said, everyone will join, including you. He points to this was on CBS, by the way. So the CBS person was what do you call them? The interviewer. It's a nice word they use in TV language. He was asked this question on behalf of the FBI. And so this was his answer. And then they asked Prabhupada. Just after he left, they invited Prabhupada, come in. So, why did you come to America? He said, I came to America to give you God. And he said, and how are you going to do that? He said, well, I'm going to ask you to give up eating meat, fish, and eggs. I'm going to ask you to please give up all forms of intoxication, including tea and coffee. He didn't say Coca-Cola, but I would have added Coca-Cola in there. That time Coca-Cola was very famous. And then he said, and no more gambling, and no more illicit sex. So you could see the interviewer's face, right? You can see the sense of disbelief on his face, you know. Wow, these are the only things we do all day long. And now you're telling us we have to give up all of these things? And he says, oh yes, and one more thing. And he takes his beat down and he has to chant like this, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. 2 hours every day. So the interviewer asks him, So how many people do you think will take to this process? He says, even if one person takes, my mission is successful. So the FBI realized the guy they need to kick out of America was Rajneesh, because he was going to spread the religion that was going to become the religion of the whole world. And you kick him out of America, so at least America stays free from that religion, right? But they didn't realize the person that Nostradamus was talking about was Srila Prabhupada. It is actually a fact that this whole world will become fully Krishna conscious. Maybe not exactly how we see it today, but it will be. Because Prabhupada did so much for the deities, he made Krishna a household word. Krishna is a competitor, okay? Krishna never accepts defeat. You can serve Krishna as much as you want. Krishna will double the service back to you. But the devotee also never accepts defeat. So the devotee doubles it back to Krishna. And Krishna doubles it back to the devotee. And this is the competition between the devotee and Krishna. And Krishna consciousness is spiraling upwards like that. So, Krishna conscious, life of all education. Number 5. The chanting of the holy name of Krishna expands the blissful ocean of transcendental life. Now you're coming into a full ocean of bliss, of transcendental life. What is transcendental life? Transcendental life is when we are with Krishna all the time, engaging in pastimes with Krishna and his associates, Lord Gauranga and his associates. That is transcendental life. We're in a blissful ocean now of transcendental life. Number 6, it gives a cooling effect to everyone. Because you all like to chill once in a while, right? Everybody likes to chill. This gives the best chilling effect. Even when you're doing your service, you can be chilling while you're doing a service. Now show me one business, one job you can do that you can chill while you work. The boss will fire you, right? If he sees you chilling during work time, what do you think will happen? He'll chill your salary check. But our process is we can chill while we're serving. At the height of our service, at the height of the kirtan, we can be chilling simultaneously. Gives us a cooling effect. And then number 7, enables one to taste full nectar at every step. Instead of padam, padam, yad vipadam, danger at every step, here is full nectar at every step. How wonderful is that, right? These are the 7 flames of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So, Kirtan 50 is meant for the 7 flames. Our participation in Krishna consciousness in ISKCON is meant for the 7 flames. Now let's make our lives, every breath of our lives, 7 flames. Let's make our existence these 7 flames. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to ask if any of you would like to share some realizations or if you have any questions. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Yes. Oh, good.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, so that others can hear the question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think I'm a little confused about Sankirtan because when you said like, you know, everything can be Sankirtan, like farming can be Sankirtan, and then I was like, wait. If I were to say that to someone and they were like, what? I'd be like, I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much. It's a very, very nice question. Excellent question. This actually tells us how devotees are the smartest. They ask the smartest questions, you know. So actually the word Sankirtan is divided into 2 parts, right? Sang and Kirtan. Kirtan comes from the word Kirtiyate. Kirtiyate means to glorify. So anything that you do which glorifies Krishna is called kirtiyate. And if you are glorifying Krishna, then that is kirtana. Kirtan means to love God, to glorify God. To glorify Krishna is called kirtan. Satatam kirtayantumam. Right? So one is always glorifying Krishna. This is the purpose of our life, to always glorify Krishna. Why? Because Krishna describes this in the Srimad Bhagavatam by saying that in the beginning there was nobody but Krishna. And then he manifests all these persons. And he says, in the end, nothing will be there except me. Right? Aham evasam evagre nanyad yat sadasat param paschadham yadetacha yavishisheta sasmiham. Okay. So, the purpose is always to associate with Krishna. Vidyartham yat pratyeta na pratyeta chatmani tad vidyad atmanomayam yatha bhaso yatha tamaha. That those things that are in connection with me, Krishna says, are real. That which is not in connection with me is Maya. Is illusion. Okay? Like that. Okay. So the soul always wants to be in connection with Krishna. Why? Why did Krishna manifest? So Krishna manifested because he wanted to increase happiness. He wanted to enjoy more. He wanted to increase happiness. To increase happiness, he manifested living and non-living entities and had them relate to him in an emotion called prema, or love. Because the emotion of love gives the greatest happiness. There is no love, no happiness greater than in the emotion of love. Now, for love to exist, what has to happen? There have to be three things: the lover, the beloved, and the loving exchange between the lover and the beloved, right? Yes? And that exchange has to be voluntary. It can't be forced, right? Someone puts a gun to my head and says, say I love you. I'll say I love you, but I'm really worried about the bullet and my existence. You see what I'm saying? That's not love, right? Love means it has to be by free will. Free will means that you have to choose to love the Lord, and the Lord chooses to love us too, right? So when you choose to love someone, your whole life is centered on how I can make that person happy. You don't look at your happiness. You're looking at the happiness of the other person, thinking, what can I do to make this person happy? Right? Like, for example, the example Prabhupada gives is the mother for the baby. When the baby is born, the baby can do nothing for the mother. All the four things the baby does is it eats, it poops, it sleeps, and it cries. None of these four things really actually are serving the mother, right? Yet the mother is serving with all of her heart the baby. That's love. Always thinking about the other person. So we should always be thinking about Krishna, and Krishna is already always thinking about us. In the spiritual world, it said there is one Krishna for each and every one of us. That is how much Krishna loves us. He manifests one form for each and every one of us. That's how much he loves us. Okay. I'm going out the long way. I want to come to the point, okay? So basically, now that there is choice to love, the choice means there has to be variety, right? A machine doesn't make choices. Why? It doesn't have any variety, right? It can only do the same thing. Repeat, the same thing. That's a machine, right? Whereas a person has variety. We are variegated people. So there's going to be varieties of ways we're going to love God, right? One of those varieties of ways can be that I'm going to grow some nice vegetables and I'm going to offer them to the Lord and please the Lord by an offering of the best bhoga. Where do you grow your vegetables? In a farm. Or you can grow in your home too. You can do hydroponics. But that's because we don't know on the farm. But if you're on the farm, you can not only grow vegetables, you can take care of your cow too. Who is the cow? The mother of Krishna, right? Krishna accepts cow as my mother. If you serve the mother of Krishna, Krishna says you're serving me. Because Krishna says those who are serving me are not serving me. But those who are serving my devotee are serving me. So we're serving the cow. We're serving Krishna. We're serving the land by taking the product of the land and offering it to Krishna. We're serving the land. We're serving the vegetable, because the vegetable that you offer to Krishna gets a human form of life in its next life. It offered its life to Krishna. That's the highest form of the 9 processes of devotion, right? Atma Nivedam. The vegetable gave Atma Nivedanam to Krishna. Oh. And you're the one who was the go-between who made it happen, right? If that's not kirtan, if that's not glorifying Krishna, tell me what is glorifying Krishna? So there are many, many ways we can love Krishna. Krishna is not a one-trick pony. Krishna likes a lot of variety. So the more variety with which you serve Krishna, the happier he becomes. And he created all of these people because he wants that many varieties. One day, Giraj Maharaj was sitting here. He was giving a class, and he was saying, we are all individual flavors that Krishna wants to taste. Don't be another flavor. Be yourself. He made you into a flavor. Imagine he made you into pizza flavor, and then you taste like ice cream. Now, both of them are nice, right? But if I'm eating pizza and it tastes like ice cream, what am I going to do? I'm going to spit it out. Something wrong with this pizza, man. Doesn't taste like pizza. Krishna wants us to be us. Each and every one should be individual. He's made us to be individual. He wants to taste us individually. And he wants to relish that taste. He in fact makes a form just to relish that taste. Just like in our lives, sometimes we like to eat pizza and we think, I would like to eat pizza for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner as well. Thank you very much. And in between when I'm snacking, please give me more pizza. That's how much I love pizza. I'm not saying that. That's not me. I'm just saying. That's how much you love it, right? Like you look at the kids. You give them candy. Do you think they'd be happy having candy for breakfast? Yes or yes? Lunch? Dinner? Snacks? In their sleep? When they wake up? In their shower? While they're in the toilet? That's love for snacks. That's love for sweets. That's the type of love Krishna has for us. Each and every one of us. So he wants variety. So if you glorify Krishna, that is kirtan. And if you glorify in the association of devotees, called sadhu sangha, Prabhupada said 90% of our success comes from sadhu sangha. And he also said 90% of our success comes from chanting the holy names of the Lord. Because the sadhus are devotees of the holy. They are the servants of the holy name. And the servant is never separated from the master. So in association, if you do any service to the Lord, if you read in the association of devotee, you are doing kirtan. You're doing sankirtan. You see what I'm saying? When you chant, feast and dance,